I'm Justin. That's Greg. We're going to have some fun with this show. This is going to be not your normal everyday 330 sports show. This is going to be the Grandpa Joe versus Uncle Frank and why they are the real villains of their movie. So, Greg, we're gonna have some fun with this. We're not gonna go. We're gonna get in depth in our own way, but we'll talk about that here in just a minute. Let's have a real quick word from our sponsors, then we'll get to it.
Mighty Mike Heating and Cooling is affordable, professional, and there when you need us 24/7. Stay warm this winter by calling your hometown hero today. Mighty Mike Heating and Cooling, 330-207-7070. This program proudly supported and brought to you by Eric Cromer, Cross Country Mortgage, a wiser way to mortgage. This program proudly supported and brought to you by the Youngstown Drip IV Bar, helping the Mahoning Valley reach its wellness goal. This program proudly supported and brought to you by Youngstown Computer, the Valley's IT company.
All right, back. So, Greg, we talked off screen. We're going to start with this piece of trash. We're going to start with Uncle Frank first. And I think it's more relevant. We're recording this around Christmas time. Home Alone's one of the best Christmas movies of all time. So we're going to start with Uncle Frank. Before we do that, let's play a little short clip here. All right. So before we get into why we think Uncle Frank is a piece of trash, let's just show you some examples here.
Pizza's here.
That's $122.50.
It's my brother's house. He'll take care of it.
Early. We're leaving the house at 8 a.m. on the button.
I hope Frank, you got the money, don't you? Come on.
Traveler's check.
You all right?
You know they had sausage and olives and
Look what
onions
you did, you little jerk.
There's no way on earth we're going to make this plane. It leaves in 45 minutes.
Think positive, Frank.
You be positive. I'll be realistic. Champagne, please.
It's free, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
It's real. It's real crystal.
Yeah.
It's real. Put them in your purse. Go ahead. Put them. Just put them in your purse. Fill it up. Fill it up, please. Horrible. Just horrible.
What kind of mother am
Makes you feel any better? I forgot my reading classes.
Oh, look what I have found in the kitchen.
Frank, those are for later. Frank?
Mes petits enfants, do you want a little shrimp?
I'm looking for my son. Do you know where he is?
No, I can't find anybody. They're home. They've all gone shopping. Nobody's home for the house.
None of the fellas want to speak of her hey of the cool jet. Get out of here, perverter. I'm going to slap you silly. Oh, you're drunken, Frank.
Frank. Frank?
Immature or not, it was pretty darn hilarious. Wreck my trip, you little sourpuss. Your dad's paying good money for it.
Second
I know I shouldn't complain about a free trip, but geez, you guys give the worst gall-darn wake-up call.
Anybody here?
Give this to Kevin.
Kevin's not here.
Forgot about that.
Turn that down.
Now, don't open any of mine. I mean it.
All right. So there's a brief look into Uncle Frank. And so, Greg, you got the floor.
Well, have you ever used traveler's checks in your life?
No.
I would imagine. I wonder if most people even know what those are. But remember, we had a friend that used traveler's checks once. But that's a side note. Good God, like, yeah, that's a great video. That probably is every single thing that he does, that he's like actively involved in any of the movies. So it's like, I mean, cheapskate. Like, I guess the one positive thing I'll say, I guess we'll start with the positive. he is who he is, and he doesn't try to be anything different than who he is. He's a piece of trash.
That's
and,
fair.
and you know it. Unlike maybe somebody we'll talk about later, but he lets you know who he is. But yeah, cheapskate. Doesn't listen to what anybody has to say. Like doesn't follow directions. Steals silverware.
Yep.
Has no ability to reassure anybody in a very traumatic situation. If he equates losing a child to misplacing his reading glasses, but clearly in my mind, the worst thing is just the way that he talks to Kevin in both movies.
Oh yeah.
And that whole sequence, as funny as it is in the second movie, like the whole like choir concert like sequence, just we haven't broken down Home Alone 2 yet, but how terrible that whole scene is, from how much horrible you feel for Kevin in that scene.
Oh man,
he is just getting shit on by everybody. But yeah, I mean, we all have kids. If anybody talked to our kids the way Uncle Frank did, they're probably gonna at least get a talking to, if not a right cross. So just a unbelievable piece of shit. But also, like, you know, he could set an alarm too. Like it's not I
was gonna say, as a grown-ass man, you still need someone. And first of all, like their wake-up call was like 8 o'clock or 8:30. It's like, what time are you sleeping in with like 20-some people in that house too? I don't know.
Yeah, I think we definitely poked that hole, and then when we broke down Home Alone 1, just the whole like how literally nobody gets up.
Yeah.
Twice. But
and the thing that the biggest scene for me is in the second one, when, like you said, that choir concert, and in the like sometimes like our immaturity shows, like, and you'll laugh at stuff that is inappropriate to laugh at, and like maybe you'll giggle under your breath or something like that, but he is full out laughing in the crowd of Kevin's freaking. By the like, a whole other side plot. Why do Buzz and Kevin go to the same school? Buzz is like 16, Kevin's like 11. They should not be in the same school. And why are they in the same choir? Like, but that's besides the point, because Uncle Frank is just like totally just like laughing at him in the stands. And then when they get back, he just like brings it right back all up. So
pretty darn funny. Like,
immature or not, pretty darn funny if you ask me. And then he's like encouraging Fuller, who's probably gonna wet the bed, and like, but encouraging him to laugh at his cousin for all his faults. So, and is Fuller his son?
Fuller's his son.
So I mean, that's another bad parenting thing. His kid's still wet in the bed. There's got to be some lingering issues on that too.
Of course.
So
yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Uncle Frank is pro bullying, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Another one. Okay, so this didn't make the video, but like I was thinking about this earlier today because I was trying to go outside the box a little bit. Kind of like make sense of this one for me. So there's that line, and I think it's in the second one because it's before he goes like walks in on him in the shower, but he says something about Uncle Frank says, if I see him in the shower, I'll grow up never feeling like a real man. So is Uncle Frank, like, first of all, like, who says that to like a 10-year-old kid? And is he like spreading false rumors about his and how well endowed he is? Like what is he doing? Like, who says that?
I think maybe that's a generational thing that apparently you could say to kids back then. But I mean, we're the same age as Kevin in that movie. Yeah. Like, you and I are like, I mean, he's like in second grade in the first one. He's probably in third or fourth grade in the second one. It's like we were the same age when those movies came out. And it's like, I wouldn't even know what someone was talking about when I was in second grade, maybe in fifth grade. Yeah. But like in it's Uncle Frank. Come on, man. It's bad. That's bad. And his brother, Kevin's dad, is kind of should be on the hook there too.
Is that his brother?
Aren't they? Are they not?
I was wondering that. I'm not sure. It may be. I think you're right. I think you're right.
And like, and this is another thing, but like, they're on that first, they're in first class. All the kids somehow are in coach, and this is pre 9/11 and all that stuff. But it's
just find an empty seat anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Just sit wherever. Stealing silverware. I don't know.
As like not one redeeming quality is there. Like, he doesn't even. He's not. There's not even a like at the like in either of them. Even like when they showed him like opening the presents in the second one, he's like, nobody opened mine. Like there's nothing with him. Even in the first one, when they all get back home, of like that I can recall of him being like, "Oh, Kevin, like, nice." He kind of does like, "Oh, okay, Kevin," in the first one, but there's nothing that's like nothing heartfelt at all from the guy.
No, yeah, he is totally out for him, and that's it.
Which I don't know if we talked about this or I heard this on somewhere. That there was an original plot line where like he in the first one where he was like actually behind the Wet Bandits, where he actually truly was a villain in the movie. And I guess you wonder sometimes like maybe how much of this other stuff was done with that in mind. That makes more sense, because it's like this guy truly is just like a bad guy. And it's, I don't know, it's entertaining, but good God, like one, like depending on how you look at it, he's either batting 0 or batting 1,000. He's batting 1,000 at being a dick and batting 0 at being a decent human being.
Yeah. So, I mean, Uncle Frank, I mean, that pretty much sums it up on him. He's just like a world-class dick, That's pretty much what it comes down to. All right. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, it's like I was gonna say we probably all have somebody like that in our family, but that's an extreme example of
that's pretty extreme.
Your weird uncle kind of thing. Yeah.
But usually like the weird uncles are like fun and cool.
They're
and
so
like,
cool. Yeah. This guy's just like
no. He brings like really nothing to the table, especially if you're a kid. Like, this guy isn't getting you anything cool for Christmas. He's not taking you to a baseball game or something like that. This guy's all about Frank and nobody else. So yeah, I think that's pretty well said and summed up. All right, let's take a quick pause and we're going to switch over to our next villain. All right, our next villain, there's no secret. I think anyone that knows me knows my disdain for Grandpa Joe. So we just highlighted Uncle Frank of Home Alone. Now we're going to switch to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And there's a lot of people in my life that had no idea that Grandpa Joe was actually a villain until it was pointed out, all of his flaws and faults. And we'll get into that in a minute. But first, we showed you an Uncle Frank highlight video. Let's show you an Uncle Joe highlight, or Uncle Joe, Grandpa Joe highlight video here, or low light video. All right, here we go.
Grandpa Joe.
As soon as I get my strength back, I'm going to get out of this bed and help him.
Dad, in all the years you've been saying you're going to get out of that bed, I've yet to see you set foot on the floor.
Maybe if the floor wasn't so cold. Turn it on.
Not enough hours in the day. Before you've bedridden for the past 20 years, it takes a lot of work to keep this family going. It takes a lot of work.
As soon as I get my strength back, I'm going to get out of this bed and help him. Turn it on.
Before you've bedridden for the past 20 years, it takes a lot of work to keep this family going. It takes a lot of work. Not enough hours in the day.
Except for this.
Loaf of bread looks like a banquet. I've no right buying tobacco.
It takes takes a lot of work. Takes a lot of work. Takes a lot of work to keep this family going. Not enough hours in the day. It's not fair to raise his hopes.
Never mind. Go on, open it, Charlie. I want to see that gold.
Looks like I'm going to be here late tonight. Looks like I'm going to be here late tonight. Not enough hours in the day.
Everyone look what's that! It's the pistol! The ticket is mine!
You're pulling our legs, Charlie. You're pulling our legs, Charlie.
It says I can take somebody with me. I wish you could go.
Look at me. Look at me. Up and about. Maybe if the floor wasn't so cold. I haven't done this in 20 years. Good luck for me. 'Cause I got a golden ticket. Liver, Charlie. Maybe if the floor wasn't so cold. Watch my speed. As soon as I get my strength back, I'm going to get out of this bed and help. As soon as I get my strength back, I'm going to get out of this bed.
Oh my God.
Out of this bed and help. Out of this bed and
I
help.
hate to see you set foot on.
And help.
Takes a lot of work.
And help.
Takes a lot of work to keep this family
Oh
going.
my God, this is really good.
You set foot on.
Maybe if the floor wasn't so cold.
Oh, that's really, really good.
Oh my gosh. I gotta pause real quick. Okay. We're back. I had the coughing fit, so I had to pause off screen, but we're going to this guy now, Grandpa Joe, over Greg's head if you're watching. Oh my gosh. If that video didn't do it for you, I don't know what will.
No,
I don't think anything we're gonna say is gonna add to it, but Greg, I'm giving you the floor again.
Oh man. Well, we started with the wolf in wolf's clothing with Uncle Frank, and this is kind of the wolf in sheep's clothing because I think we all when we were young probably didn't recognize that Grandpa Joe is a villain, but you kind of realize it, and he's kind of the worst kind of villain because he's the villain that doesn't outwardly seem like a villain. That video is absolutely incredible. And
I still can't catch my breath.
It's just like, there's such a laundry list of questions. Like, also, I'm just like, did the four of them just sleep like head to toe like that, like for 20
years,
whatever. Like, so where do we start? Let's see.
How about let's start with him. Let's get to the main point. Everyone knows Grandpa Joe getting out of bed and doing this song and dance. Let's start there.
Yeah. So
first of all, what he's singing is, "I've got a golden ticket."
Yep.
Do you? Did you really get it? So let's start there.
Yeah, immediate. Yeah, unbelievable, right? Just claim like, oh, it's ours, Charlie. Yeah. Like,
how about his mom?
Yeah. The not offering the ticket to his mom, who's basically supported them for 20 years, inexcusable isn't even the right word. It's like it is like the ultimate, like, just horrible act. Getting out of bed and magically being able to do a Broadway dance number after supposedly being bedridden for 20 years. I want to see like the Netflix special on what they were doing, what the four of them were doing. I guess I don't want to pull the other ones into it, but I'm sure they're complicit in all this. What were they all doing all day, every day when Charlie's mom was like at the laundry? Because clearly they were up and moving around, because like bodies don't work like that.
Right.
So like,
yeah, and they're eating cabbage water every night. they literally don't have 2 nickels to rub together.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean, it's just like it's like they try to make it like this noble act that he's decided to give up tobacco, but not to mention this has been going on for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And who's buying the tobacco? Like, he's like, Charlie's giving him the money for the tobacco, but he's bedridden. Don't know what's going on there.
What country did this movie take place? Is this England?
I always think of it as England,
Mhm.
but it's got to be in Europe. So I always think of it as England, but it's almost like maybe it's not even really like it's like a non, that's just not set in any norm.
Yeah.
It's got to be Europe somewhere, but it's like not maybe it's like a fake country.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But I always think of it as like, it's definitely European.
But they probably have some sort of like welfare system set up where like this family literally lives in a room no bigger than like a 12 by 12 shack where they can do laundry and have a bed. Like, do they even have a bathroom? Like, God only knows. I know there's a bedpan under the bed when they know it. Just imagine what that place, friggin' cabbage water and bedpans. 4 adult grown grandparents living in the same bed. Imagine the unsanitariness of those sheets. And
yeah, it's pretty horrifying situation. And then I guess pivoting a little bit, like Charlie, clearly him and Charlie have some type of like special relationship. For whatever reason, he's gravitated towards his grandpa, and probably poor kid doesn't see the fault in him, but he tells him, like, if you remember early on when they talk about the golden ticket contest happening, Charlie says something to the effect of like, "Hey, do you think I can find a golden ticket?"
Mm-hmm.
And Grandpa Joe's like, "Find one? I expect you to find all 5." It's like, yeah, you're trying to be you're trying to be like this nice, cool grandpa, but really you're setting the most unreasonable expectation possible. And Charlie's probably like, "Well, holy crap, I gotta find all 5 for my grandpa."
Mm-hmm.
And which is kind of interesting because I think through the course of the movie he bought like 3 Blanca bars or something. So it's like, I'm not even sure how he's gonna find 5. They have no money. But like just that right there, it reminds me of like the dad that's like, "Oh, son, you're gonna play in the NBA and you're gonna be a superstar and you're gonna win 10 NBA championships." Like, we all want our kids to have dreams, but let's kind of keep it in check here.
Yeah. Pump the brakes.
I'm always the more I watch it, I'm kind of bothered by that part because you're just like, you're setting him up to fail, and then he's probably like, "Well, I found 1, but I'm sorry, Grandpa, I didn't find you any more than 1."
Yeah, and in all of the world, in all
people are like closing down their factories to have people like unwrap candy bars for an entire shift, but like Charlie Bucket's gonna find 5 golden tickets.
And I know this is focused on Grandpa Joe, but that math teacher that calls him out, 1, I don't know how to do 1. It's like, well, first of all, you're a math teacher, you should be able to divide 1 by whatever they were dividing by, and 2, it's like you're pretty much calling a kid out for being poor, in front of his classmates. So anyway,
props to Charlie for not lying there. I think I would have probably lied.
Oh yeah,
he's proud.
Exactly. So I don't know this.
And you hit on the claiming ownership of the golden ticket immediately is just unbelievable and inexcusable.
All right, well then let's go here then. So he gets out of bed. So we already kind of talked about that, and does his song and dance, and like literally looks like he just got out of Juilliard or something. Like freaking Julia Stiles in The Last Dance. But like gets out of bed, does his song and dance number, which, I mean, did he rehearse that or where did that come from? But apparently he's been in bed for 20 years, right? So where did your muscles would go through so much atrophy. You
Yeah.
wouldn't have the strength to do that. So, 2, has he been faking it this whole time?
Yes. There's no doubt.
Yeah. He's been faking it.
That's the. I don't even think we need a doctor on. We don't even need a doctor to tell us that. It's an absolute truth.
So to that point, you're drinking cabbage water every night. Your daughter or daughter-in-law, I don't know what the relationship is.
I think it's got to be daughter-in-law because she actually calls him Joe at some point.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep.
So his daughter-in-law is doing him and his wife's filthy ass laundry. And God only knows, like, you know, probably cleaning out the bedpans and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so she's doing all the dirty work while he's, you know, laying in bed. I'm not saying that's a glamorous life or anything, but he's literally not doing anything. And he's freeloading off of Charlie and his mom, you know, and could be out there working, and maybe they can have a freaking loaf of bread one night, you know, for dinner.
Yeah. And Charlie, I guess, is also kind of supporting them too. It's yeah, it's disturbing. The more you watch it, the more just straight up disturbing it is. And we haven't even gotten to the factory yet, where it just kind of continues. Like I went back
into that. Yeah, get into that.
Yeah, I went back and forth on this a little bit, but like, I don't know. Like, okay, I get it. Like, they sign the contract, like, fine. Like, when they get in, it's like, yeah, I get it. You're not worth anything. But you know, he provokes the breaking in and drinking the fizzy lifting drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up panics like a pansy when they're flying up towards I mean, no ability to like lead under pressure. Like, you know, he's like, you know, like I'm sorry, but if you and your kid are like in danger, like you don't want to be like, oh my God, we're gonna get blown to ribbons up there. It's like just like have a little bit of calm. Like, okay, he accidentally burps and figures it out. That's probably luck. It's probably from his panicking.
Mm-hmm.
But it still felt like he's kind of more concerned about himself. At that point. And then just zero judgment at the end, like ready to just sell out. I mean, ready to sell out to Slugworth, goes after Wonka, which actually is somewhat of a redeeming moment, but like read the room. Like, I think I don't think Charlie knew what was happening, but Charlie knew the importance of being a good person. And when he gave the gobstopper back, obviously that ended up being the defining moment. But Grandpa Joe's just off the rails at that point. Again, he's protecting Charlie, but, you know, immediately trying to sell out for the money.
Mm-hmm.
And then panics again when the glass elevator is ready to fly out, which I don't blame him for that. I mean, if I was in a glass elevator and we were flying towards a glass top of a building, I probably would have the same feeling. But, you know, just again, like you just think about like if Charlie had heeded any of his advice throughout that movie, they would have ended up with nothing. And it's just, you know, but still he wins out in the end because he was, you know, he rides Charlie's coattails, and God knows what's going to happen after the end of the movie, what happens and like what kind of say Grandpa Joe has in the running of the factory. And at some point that thing's going into the ground. It's his fault. But yeah, just.
So let's go over some of these adjectives for Grandpa Joe. So lazy's the first one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
So give me another one. Selfish.
Definitely selfish. Somebody's been buying his tobacco for 20 years. Yeah, it's just like,
is he a narcissist?
Yeah, I think so.
Kind of makes it about him with like the golden ticket.
Yeah, I mean, again, you can't. Yeah,
I mean,
an absolute narcissist.
I mean, like I don't know what the word would be, like an adjective for faking an injury or a a medical ailment for all those years, but I mean that's right up there. I mean he's pretty much a burden on the entire family, like getting Charlie's hopes up, having him go buy tobacco when they can't even buy bread. Like open, like you said, getting his hopes up. He's just he's worthless. He's like you said, the worst thing you can say to someone from our what's that movie? You're
worth more dead than alive.
Yeah, you're worth more dead than alive. It's kind of fitting though for Grandpa Joe.
Really, it's just, and it's just like it's just interesting because I'm sure the character wasn't written to be bad, to be like a villain, and obviously most people that watch it don't really pick up on it, but it's like as you go through life, you just realize, wow, that guy, he's full of shit, as George Carlin would say. Like, it's just
this is why we need to do shows like these, to bring this to people's attention.
It's very important.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of people now, I think, that watch Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory with a new lens. And one of the reasons we wanted to do this has nothing to do with the new movie that's coming out, because that's like a prequel. So Grandpa Joe and Charlie aren't even in it. But that movie's coming out. So that kind of like brought it to the forefront of like, hey, we've always wanted to do a show about Grandpa Joe, and it's around Christmas time, and Uncle Frank's a big piece of shit too. So this is a great time to do it. Yeah. So you got any other thoughts? Is there anything else? Like, it was kind of like you touched upon the fizzy lifting drinks and the fan and stuff. It was his idea to go in there and take them and steal them. So kind of got Charlie in trouble there, which,
and oh, by the way, you broke the rule in the contract that you blindly signed, because you didn't, not like they needed to have an attorney present, but like, it's just no forward thinking. No, like, maybe we should think about what we signed. He's like, oh, we got nothing to lose, except you almost lost the entire chocolate factory.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I guess, he had a lot of time to think sitting in bed there for all those years. Gives the man a lot of time to think. Doesn't face consequences for his actions. Basically almost gets his grandson killed in the fan.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. Like you said, he's a sellout, wants to go to Slugworth immediately, which, I guess if I was desperate and had, no money, I might do the same thing. But, there's no sympathy. That's another thing, like, not just Grandpa Joe, but the other parents. It's like, there's zero sympathy for any of those other children in this movie.
Yeah, I think it's a good public service. Beware of false prophets. Beware of false of imposters.
Yeah,
I think originally, I don't want to. Maybe we can go into the who's worse, and because I think I know where we're going with this, but I do think that, and it goes to life, right? Like, the most dangerous people in the world are the people that appear to be good but are really evil. And Uncle Frank, you spot right away. You're like, that guy sucks. Like, I'm not gonna listen to what that guy says. I'm not gonna follow this guy. Like, I'm gonna do the opposite of what this guy does. But Grandpa Joe, like, give the guy a little bit of credit. He's got enough charisma and ability to bring Charlie in and bring people in, but he is the worst kind of bad.
So let me ask this too. How long? So he hasn't got out of bed in 20 years. His daughter-in-law is doing all the work around the shanty. And maybe I'd get out of bed if the floors weren't so cold.
Unbelievable.
Well, maybe if you got out of bed, you could pay for some more heat in that place. So one thing leads to another with that. But he is just,
Yeah.
I think we can just serve this one up on a platter. Uncle Frank is bad, but Grandpa Joe's the fucking worst. He just is. He's the worst. So that's my vote. I think, I don't know, Greg. I'll let,
Yeah,
I don't want to steal your vote here, but
yeah, no, a resounding vote. Yeah, resounding vote for Grandpa Joe. Like we said, it's just
and any other examples you can think of? So like he's smoking the pipe, which obviously costs money. Tobacco's not cheap. Anyone, I don't smoke, but I see cigarettes are like $7 or $8 a pack now, and like back then, I am sure it was still a lot, per capita or whatever, per your income. But like the song and dance will never, ever, ever get old to me, because it's like, I just don't like, if anyone has ever injured themselves or like been sick for a little bit, or just not been like yourself, even for like, let's say a weekend, and then you try to go back to work or get to the gym or whatever it might be on a Monday, let's say, it's like you are not full go. And this guy goes from 0 to 60 like a freaking Lamborghini. So another example.
And he's what, probably 65 years old.
Yeah.
If you even give him 70, like if he's been bedridden since he's been like almost our age, like 45, 40, like maybe 50. Like, we probably need a little more backstory. Like, I mean, like, yeah, since you broke both legs in that like combine accident, like or whatever, it's like,
yeah, right.
No, you've just been like, you're like seemingly perfectly healthy, nothing wrong with you, but you've been bedridden since you're 45.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly it's just plot holes, but it's plot holes gone really wrong. Like it's like whoever wrote this, well, I think the Roald Dahl or whatever, the guy that actually wrote the book, but I'm sure there was some, I've never read the book, so I don't know what kind of liberties were taken in the movie, but like they could have done a couple things that could have made him a lot more redeeming. Like
the only thing I've read that's like truly different in the book, and it's not even with that character, but there is a father in the book. So I could see like Grandpa Joe's kind of like Charlie's father.
Yeah. But it's weird they don't get into that.
And so maybe it's a little bit on the character building side, but they don't do him any favors. That's for sure.
And that's interesting because in the Johnny Depp movie there is a father too.
Okay.
And there's a Grandpa Joe in that movie, and I'm curious. I haven't watched that in a while. I wonder how he can't possibly be worse.
I've only seen like bits and pieces. I haven't seen that one, the Johnny Depp one, but I feel like the Grandpa Joe in that one kind of looks like the other grandpa that's in the bed.
Yeah.
Kind of like an older, like the big glasses, like doesn't have the high energy kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I got all. It's just like you got Grandpa Joe, Grandma Josephine, Grandpa George, and Grandma Georgina, I think is where they are. Like, I just got a lot of. There's a decent chance that they're just four complete frauds. Like they just don't even like. I don't even know. Like, I just so many questions.
Or they're related, which is even weirder. Oh man, but I mean, we could take this a lot of different ways, but this was kind of our first character investigation here. So I think without a doubt, we are saying Grandpa Joe over Uncle Frank if that's the championship matchup here. But they're either way, you can't go wrong with both of them being pieces of trash. But in this piece of trash bracket, Grandpa Joe takes the cake, or takes the cabbage water in this one. And Uncle Frank will take the spoons or whatever from the first class. So, all right, that was good. If you guys have anything we forgot, and I'm sure we forgot a lot because we're just trying to wing this off the top of our head, but drop them in the comments and we'll go from there. So, Greg, thanks for doing this. This was fun, and hopefully this will encourage people to go out, rewatch that movie, and go through and just like watch Grandpa Joe in this movie. Just watch him, because if you think, oh, he's this likable guy that gets out of bed and dances, no, he's not. And Uncle Frank, maybe the true villain, not the Wet Bandits, not Buzz. Well, they're all kind of bad, but I think those two take the cake. So, all right, we'll leave it at that. Greg, appreciate it, and everybody, we'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. This is original Youngstown content. Feel free to share our videos and tell your friends about us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook.